Welcome back to Larps and Tarps. Finally, after so long, we are here with our Pre Larp episode, and I am joined by
Alex.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Tom. It's my first day.
Morgan.
And me, Chloe. Hello.
Oh, that couldn't have gone better.
And today on Tops TV,
It was enthusiastic.
it was very good.
I'm excited.
Chloe,
Sorry,
what are we
Alex.
talking about today?
We are talking about Pre Larp.
Woo, woo, woo.
I did say Pre Larp, but we've got some ramblings to throw your way. We have some questions to answer. We have tangents to be tangented.
And I think we're all
Tangent to be told.
all vibrating with excitement.
Should turn the vibrator off.
Yeah, probably.
Recording.
Because I sounded really excited. We were vibrating with excitement.
You sound
Never been
so
more
bored.
excited in my entire life.
I am thrilled.
I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah, you love it.
No, I am. I
Morgan's just in it for the fame and money now.
If I
He
get-
doesn't have the passion anymore.
yeah, all the fame and wealth we've garnered from this podcast.
You Hollywood whore.
Yeah, no, I am. I think the thing is, if I get too excited, I'll peak the microphone and cause Alex a headache.
I
So
was
I
going to
just
say he was
have
going to
to.
pee himself. I was like, same.
If I get too excited, Alex will piss himself. So I just have to, I just have to
already
tone it down. Oh hell yeah! Because you guys. So I feel horrible for you two because the last LARP you guys did, Alex and Chloe, was a Flying Lead Nightmare,
Yeah.
Same for you, Kerry.
Yeah, same for
and
me.
same for you as well. Whereas me and Tom have been to like
Three or four, yeah.
It's ridiculous how balls deep you guys have gone into this
It's-
hobby.
yeah.
It's actually disgusting.
I can't afford this addiction and an economic crisis. I am suffering.
But yet you
majorly.
still continue to go.
It's a drug. It's an addiction. LARP is a drug. Don't do it, kids.
It's an NHS medically recognised condition.
Not, oh no, I'm not going to get political.
Tom's there hitchhiking at the side of the road. Take me to a LARP. I'll crew. I'll
Take me to Eversley.
Get me there.
I think it's. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys will feel the same, Alex and Chloe, but Tom and Kerry, for me, going into like my third year of a LARP feels very different because the first year is like, not apprehension, but you're kind of like, oh, what am I going to expect? What's it going to be like? And then your second year, you're full of like, oh my God, can't wait to do it again. But now it's my third year, it's kind of because it feels like a bit more regular. There's a weird kind of comfort excitement about it. I don't know if that's the
yeah.
right way to put it.
But you're not like bubbling with it.
Well, I am, but there's just something
not
about
like a nervous way.
Yeah, there's just kind of like it feels like I think someone put it. Sometimes going back to Empire can feel like going home.
Yeah, no,
Could-
literally.
yeah.
Like I feel like it really clicks for me the first time I'm like walking around the field when things are starting to get set up, and I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that van ride in going over those bumpy
Oh, yeah.
things, like and just looking at everyone. I'm like,
When we go over the cattle grates, so like, ooh, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here.
Oh my god.
Technically, this is my fourth year on the biggest.
Yeah, that is true.
technicality.
That is
Yeah.
true. It's funny as well. Like, so we should have listened to last year's pre-larp because I would love to know where we were all at this time last year.
Well, I know for us, so much has changed because this time last year we had virtually no game. We're
Yeah.
considering maybe changing nations or maybe giving it up completely. And, you know, we've got so much to look forward to this year. But I suppose we'll get into that shortly.
Stick with it, kids. If you have faith, the game will come to you. I feel like a youth pastor.
So I think we wanted to, because I imagine it seems like this game doesn't stop growing, and there's a lot of new players at this game. I think so. I think I saw something like there's like 300 new players.
Yeah, I believe that.
so
I've
hopefully-
heard a lot of I've seen a lot of people posting on Facebook.
First
Hi,
time.
I'm new. This is
Yeah.
my first time.
The new
What to
player
expect?"
kits that are going up on the
it's
Facebook page,
ridiculous.
like, they're better than mine.
I'm just it's
job, guys.
quite honestly disgusted.
Yeah.
You have to go through shit kit.
Yeah. I'm still in my shit
Your
kit
charity
era.
shop
There's-
T-shirt, fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
there's
still
some
in my shit.
people posting in the Navari page like, I am a newbie, it's my first time, what do you think to my kit? And you're like, that's some of the best kit I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, better
You're
than
like,
mine.
you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You need to go through shit kit purgatory. I'm pissed off with all these people.
I'm still in my shit kit era. Like, I still don't know.
So, like, 'cause I get a new kit every year, so I've not
Yeah.
got a chance to upgrade it.
We were.
I have no excuse.
What was it? You that was saying the same thing that we were looking at pictures. It was like our kit's completely different from when we first started.
Mine's very much the same, but it's a lot more weathered. Therefore,
Yeah.
it looks good.
You've got new elements, like a new cloak.
That picture that we did last year when we had those pictures taken and we did
Yeah.
our very first Empire together, when I think you, Alex, put a side by side. It was so cute. When you look at us
Yeah.
there, we're like,
I'm just like,
oh,
ready
one-
to go.
The one from, was it 2022?
2022,
We
yeah.
look like awkward teens on prom
Yeah, with
nights.
like the normal tents behind us and
Yeah.
everything.
yeah,
And
when
a
we were
house.
OC camping. Oh, that's
never
so
again.
cute.
Never OC camping again.
OC camping's fine.
It
You can
is.
still have a good time at
But
Empire
it
if you
is easier
OC
to
camp.
put up the IC tents, and you are closer to everything.
Yeah,
so you
absolutely.
can get it down.
But
It's
don't
worth
camp
it.
IC because there won't be room for us.
Don't camp IC in Navarre.
Anyway, Dawn's full. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
League's getting full because the VAR is spilling onto our side.
Is it?
Greatest
Yeah.
nation.
Yeah, well, that's where the
Yeah.
boar's head was.
We've got. I'm wanting to, for when Tristan eventually kicks the bucket, I want to get one of those big square pavilion tents.
Oh yeah.
To have like a big kind of thing on the field. But I'm thinking of having like an in-character tent on the field as role play space.
Yeah.
Being in the out of character area to sleep. Because if you've got
that
somewhere to
makes sense.
store stuff, it's like and to role
Yeah,
play,
the
it would be
the
fine.
biggest part about having your tent on the field is if you need to go and get weapons or like
Yeah.
snacks or whatever like throughout the day, or like if you
Just
want to
taking
leave
your
your
armour
tankard
off.
somewhere safe
Yeah.
or take your armor off. Yeah, it's good to have somewhere
Like a base.
like a base. Yeah, so we end up storing weapons half the time for most of the jackdaws.
Yeah.
I think after someone's camped OC for the first couple of events, there's going to be such an urge to camp IC
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to resist it.
100%. So yeah, we wanted to talk about, I guess, what to expect for your first event.
Yeah.
Would be good, because I know that. I mean, we listen to podcasts before we go, and I think it's gonna be a tricky job to kind of prepare anyone, right? Because
It's so hard to put into words.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Shall we go around in a circle and say one bit of advice each? Our top tip.
advice or what to expect.
What to expect,
Yeah.
maybe
What
how
to look forward to a little
work
bit as
towards.
well.
Yeah. So I guess maybe we could do it kind of because we all have been in different nations. We all have different ideas of what you want to do. I think the thing you really want to think about, if you can, is what part of Empire you want to play. Because I think it's easy for, and I remember I did this with exactly the same thing with D&D and with Empire, is when you're kind of thinking about it, you don't really think of it as like a game, almost. You think of it as, I don't know, something like separate, like just an experience you're having. But Empire is very much like a game, and there's parts of the game that you can want to play. So having a think about, do I want to do loads of fighting, or do I want to do things with the priest game where you're, influencing the hearts and minds of the Empire and making impacts there, or do you want to perhaps like get involved in magic and try and understand the spells? So kind of have a look before and think, what do I really want to spend my weekend doing, and then use that as your guiding light and try to do it. So it's like, I want to get into magic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Conclave. I'm going to go to the Regio. I'm going to speak to ritualists. I'm going to speak to archmages and try and get a kind of understanding of like what the magic game is like and things like that. Or if you want to do skirmishes, find the person who's in charge of skirmishes for your nation and throw yourself at them and be like, please throw me through the Sentinel Gate. I wish to risk my life.
Yeah.
Stop
yeah,
doing that.
think-
You're ruining it for the mercenary companies. Stop doing things for free.
I think just building on that, like as you were talking, then I was just thinking. I suppose my bit of advice then would be don't be afraid to like ask people or talk to people.
Yeah.
Like you've mentioned, like the Regio or the Sentinel Gate. So new players might not know who they are. Just ask someone. Like no one's going to think you're stupid. No one's going to be like, oh, this person doesn't know this. Like no, everyone is so lovely there. Just don't be afraid to talk to someone. Just ask. There are so many people that are so willing to help, and just will get you through things. So just if you don't know what something is, or you don't know where something is, or you want to just be curious about things, just talk to anybody. Everyone's so
always
lovely.
Value the phrase, it's my first time in Anvil. As soon as
Yeah.
you say that, people will know you're a new player and will go hat over heels to help you in
Yeah.
that situation.
I'm not here to spread any rumours, but I have heard that if you say I'm new to Anvil in the league, that's a good way to get fleeced out of all your money.
I think that's
I
just the
believe
league.
it,
That's just the
yeah.
league, isn't it?
So don't
though?
enter trade negotiations like, I'm new to Anvil. Well, that is worth one ring, so give me all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Like there's people who are
I
very
mean, do
willing
you know,
to help.
I don't think I actually properly knew what the Regio was until when you did your race.
yeah.
I did not know what that was until
Yeah.
you did it. Like people have spoken about it, but I had no clue what it was
Yeah,
or
'cause
where
you
it
hear
was.
these words flying around,
Yeah,
but without any context.
because it's not
Yeah.
a side of the game that I associate myself with. I had absolutely no idea until
Yeah.
you did your race
Yeah.
and we were there. I was
That's
like,
a good place to start, maybe.
this
isn't
is
it?
this thing.
Like the Regio is, so a Regio in the game is a concentrated area of magic, which makes doing rituals easier. And most rituals are tied to one of the 6 magical realms. which I'll allow you to, we've
Go
done
on the
episodes
wiki
on
and
Magic.
find
We've,
out.
we've done episodes on Magic, so you can listen to that or look on the wiki. But the Empire, Anvil, the capital city, there is the Imperial Regio, which is tied to all 6 realms. So that's where rituals are easier to do. You can read the rules on Magic there. And also you can use that to teleport to somewhere called the Hall of Worlds, which is where Conclave happens, which is magical politics. So if you want to do a magical politics game, go to the Regio and but you have to be a magician to do
I
that.
also hear that's a good place to bump into like elementals or
Eternals, yeah.
Eternals, that's the one, yeah. If you want to see some people in some like really cool, funky
Yeah.
costumes and some interesting characters, if you are a mage, you can get into the Hall of Worlds and loiter around, and you might see something interesting there.
Yeah, there is some. I've been around and I've seen like things called tulpas, which are like creatures of the stars, which are always interesting, and you can get weird curses from them.
So like also to build on your point about having an idea what you want to do and going and like trying to engage with that game. If you're like find yourself like at a meeting like Conclave or something and you're bored, just leave. It's your holiday. You don't
Just
have to,
leave.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to. If
No
you change
one's-
your mind, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or, like if you go to the nation meetings, it's a great way to get to know the nation that you're in, meet some people there. But if you're just stood around bored, you can leave. No one's going to be offended.
I think the other thing we said was the Sentinel Gate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I think Empire was really focused on when they first made it was making sure that combat was opt-in. So previous LARPs that the Profound Decisions, the organization that runs the game, did, combat was everywhere. So your camp could get invaded by another camp and people could attack you, right? Profound Decisions has gone to a real length to make sure that doesn't happen commonly. So what they have is they have the Sentinel Gate, which is a portal to different parts of the Empire, and based on the stars and things like that, they can pick out opportunities of where we can send you, and you can engage with some enemies. So Sentinel Gate is basically a big arch with a portal that you go through, and then twice per event there is a major conjunction, which is where half of the Empire, half of the people attending Anvil can go through and have a massive battle, which are all really good fun. But yeah, I think that's two good things to kind
Two
of bear
good
in
starting
mind.
points,
Yeah,
just so you
absolutely.
know to pinpoint. The Sentinel Gate's pretty much in the middle of Anvil. Like you can't
Yeah,
really
just
miss
at the
it.
end of Traders Row, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
The Regio's
Yes. To the
up
side.
to the left of the Sentinel
It's
Gate.
at the end of Urizen. So it's like the,
The top
top
corner of
right
that
of the
field.
field. Yeah. So you go through Urizen to get to the Hall of Worlds. You go past High Guard to get to the Sentinel Gate, basically. Yeah. What about Alex?
I'd say the importance of God and being aware, like what they can do, what
Blessed be.
their services are.
What is
Not-
God, Alex?
All hail God.
All hail
We all
God.
hold him dear in our hearts.
So God is kind of like, well, they're the organisers. It's PD. They're the police. They've got computers. They've got all our player packs, and they're based just kind of near where all the caterers are.
Yeah.
And if you've got any questions, if anything's happened, even if you're unsure about things, or especially like if someone's been hurt or something like that, just head over to them, and they're more than happy to help you out.
Aren't they? They are setting up a new.
There is a mini god.
Yeah, there is a mini god. Is
Ooh,
it the
Yeah.
Jesus.
bottom-
Demigod.
Yeah, a demigod. That's at the bottom of.
It's near where
In
the
be-
end of the Dawn Field.
Yeah, it's in between Dawn, Wintermark, and Navarre, and that
Yes.
little. It's like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, exactly. It's because God stands for Game Organizer Desk.
Yeah.
I think.
Sounds
so.
right.
So absolutely. That's where you get your player pack.
Or operations. Or,
Operations. That's,
if you know for sure, let us know in the comments.
yeah. That's
We're
really,
in
yeah.
no way professional.
So yeah, make sure you know where God is pretty early on, just in case
Well, you
anything
need to get your
happens.
player pack from there,
Oh,
really,
yeah,
before
you'll be
you
getting your player
start.
pack, so yeah, you'll know where it is. Also, temperature control and awareness is quite important.
God, yeah.
I think this time of year, we don't know at E1 if it's going to rain or not, but one thing we can be sure of is it's going to be cold.
But we have also
especially
known someone to get terrible sunburn at E1.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, so it
God,
depends.
yeah, even though it
Bring
was cold.
yeah.
Remember how windy it was in our first Empire?
Yeah.
That's how we
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
realise. Yeah. But
So-
the skies were clear.
Bring thermals and sunscreen because it's spring in England, so we don't know what we're prepared for.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do
Spare
get
shoes, probably.
yeah, exactly. But if you do feel uneasy, especially like with something like sunstroke, I think it was E3 or E4 last year. So many people were hit with
Tom got it.
sunstroke.
There's actually first aiders near God who you can
Yeah.
go speak to. Which, like you said, during the summer was ridiculous. Especially, I saw a couple of orcs who obviously are wearing full latex masks.
Oh,
all
Yeah.
day.
Their kit is ridiculous.
And while you're fighting as well, if you feel a little bit faint, don't feel under any pressure to continue fighting.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna
Just
ruin
like
anything if you
meetings,
stop.
You don't have to be there.
Yeah,
Like,
just
if it's-
put your hand up
Yeah.
and just go over to a ref and just say, I just need 10 minutes in the shade or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Other
I
than
think you
that,
do
all
have to
good.
quit the field if you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
which makes sense.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. But if you kind of go, I'm checking out, you've kind of disappeared because.
Yeah.
of
Please
the
don't
one-
kill me, orcs.
Yeah.
I've broken
So
my
you
leg.
can't. So you can't be like, oh, time out. Time out. Let me get somewhere safe.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be like a real reason.
Or say, for example, if you've recently had surgery and someone sticks a spear into your
Yeah.
abdomen,
What idiot would do
don't
that?
march
Who
back
would
onto
do
the field
that?
after that.
and then continue fighting. We do not condone this behaviour.
No, it's a ridiculous thing to do.
Yeah, well,
Dangerous.
I mean, say if that person went down and then everyone had to take the knee and the whole game had to stop and you had to get taken off embarrassingly, and then you were like, well, I don't want to miss out, and then you just came back,
Oh God.
I think it's fine.
You'll find both good and bad advice on this.
Yeah,
podcast.
absolutely.
I think it's fine.
Do not.
Well, it works out semi-okay.
Well, you didn't get stabbed in the same area again, so
But then I did decide to just stay off the field.
yeah.
Um,
You did look a bit rough when you came back.
I almost cried. Did have abdominal surgery, like it was.
Skill issue.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Sorry, it's directly your fault.
Oh no, that I had to have abdominal surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went on the battlefield.
Twice.
Yeah, well, it was E4. I wasn't going to miss out, was I? That's the whole
You
reason I
could
go to.
have.
That's the whole reason I go to Empire.
Madness.
You like to drink as well.
I do. she says, sipping a
I was
wine.
going to say glass of wine in hand.
so yeah, bring thermals, stay warm at night, make sure you've got appropriate bedding and at least
Hydrate.
stay hydrated, stay fed.
Make sure there's a layer between you and the floor. in your
Yes,
tent.
that's a good one.
Because you lose a lot of heat straight through the floor. You guys got really thick beds. You've got an air bed. I've got like a fold out camp bed. Just make sure, like, even if you've got like a thick piece of foam, don't be direct. I have a friend who, I don't know if she's listening, this is a direct call out, who sleeps on the floor of just someone's tent.
That's
I think I
insane.
know. Do I know who that
I
is?
don't think you know her, but
Oh, okay.
it's nuts. It's insane. Don't do it. Because, I think it's
Yeah.
like big thing there. Out of character health is really important, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prioritise that.
I think my last thing would be, I mean, this is more something new to LARP or new to role play, but a lot of people, their character is just to be a dick, a big shouty,
Yeah.
angry, awful person, and not obviously don't take it personally.
Yeah, if someone shouts,
could-
you try not to cry.
Yeah, and if someone's role play is quite intense and they're
you
and they're
can.
in your face, yeah, just let them know. Is there a specific procedure for that?
So there is a gesture that is basically if you put your hand up, that has to be cut off.
Yeah, then
I don't know how
go
well
back
known
or
that is,
something.
but it's because it's specifically on the battlefield. If a general's screaming at you, you can just do this.
Yeah.
And they have to cut it there. But also, just say, hey, out of character, I'm not happy with this.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
then they can cut the
That's
interaction.
totally
People
fine.
understand.
yeah, you don't have to put up with someone shouting in your face.
No.
Yeah.
But also, you can. I were big. What is big and clever is checking with someone before you kick off at them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I, at my last event, quit being Nietzsche's housekeeper, and before I did it, I was like, Tom, can I throw your clothes at you? Can I shout at you and throw your clothes at you and storm off? And that was totally fine. It was very fun.
I felt so guilty because that got overshadowed by the Miffleman murder.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We just did it after timeout.
But also,
It doesn't
definitely
matter.
check in after. And then check in
Yeah.
before if you can. Definitely check in after. Because I
Yeah.
went ballistic at someone at E3 and then had to hunt them down and find them because I was like, screaming in their face. And then I had to be like, are you good? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine.
Well, we had that exchange,
had the
didn't we?
scuffle,
Where
yeah.
you were screaming at me and I
I
was
wasn't
like,
screaming. I was just getting like
It was that
Very
hoist,
agitated.
that
Yeah.
hoist Brandon shouted at me, and I was actually like a little bit miffed, like fucking hell. I was like, Kerry, it's
Sorry.
alarm.
we had a bit of a back and forth, and I was a bit like, oh, is this icy OC? And then
Yeah.
I realised
Yeah.
it was icy. I was like,
Yeah.
cool. But then afterwards we were like, you good? You
Yeah,
good?
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
like,
good.
it's good, always
And then
good to
just walked off.
confirm.
Yeah.
I've got like a 300 ping, so it takes me a while. If someone's shouting at me, I'm like, what the? None of this is real.
I think if you listen back to our Flagland episode, I had a scrap with someone and Alex dragged me off them, which was just very funny because I leaned into them. I was like, hey, are you okay if I grapple you? And I just started to punch him, and then Alex just picked me up and lifted me away. I was like, I'll bloody kill him! I'll kill him! But yeah, no, it's all good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, just making sure you check in. I guess.
Yeah, if anything goes too far for you, just raise your hand, let them know, and they'll stop it. If they don't, go to God and tell them.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom? You got any golden nuggets?
Well, we're skipping Kerry. This is
I
going
already-
against my
I already
OCD.
did mine.
Oh, wait, did we? Oh,
Yeah.
It must have been a good
You just
one.
don't listen to me, Tom.
I don't listen to anyone. Well, my...
That's why you lose housekeepers.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
why you got a new housekeeper every year.
So my first advice would probably be to new players to go to the new player events throughout the Friday. There will be talks on Magic, playing the game, and especially if you're going to be a combat character, I hugely advise you go to the combat training.
The new player skirmishes.
Yeah, the new player skirmish, because you guys, I distinctly remember, didn't expect to be put in a donut of death the first time you went.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like, if you've never done
Trauma.
LARP or reenactment combat before, it can be a lot to take in, like being crushed together with people.
Yeah, I do think the Empire battlefield, because it's so large scale, is quite, overwhelming. It's quite intense.
Unless you've got a very good leader that leads.
Yeah,
you
if you've
through
got a good strategic force.
we don't. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Seb.
So I'd advise you to go to every meeting. I've not been to the Magic ones, but I believe they tell you everything that you need to know. They'll
Yeah,
do crafting.
I went to the alchemy one.
Yeah,
That
and
was
I think
good.
there's one for Welcome to Anvil as well. So they'll just give you a what is the Empire,
New
what
player
we're doing
brief,
here,
yeah.
new player brief. Secondly, I would also advise don't play mysterious stranger in the corner who doesn't
Yeah,
talk to
don't be
people
Aragorn.
because no one will come to you. I know it can be hard when you're in a new scenario, but please feel the confidence to come up and talk to people because people really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's I'd also advise don't read every aspect of the wiki. I barely have, and I love it when
Yeah.
people tell me about things in character. I'm learning IC, and it's making someone's day that they be able to tell me about their special subject and get really passionate.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's great for you to know about your nation and like the sort of things your character would know, but it's perfectly normal for a Navari to come to Varushka and be like, so these monsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
just-
absolutely.
Sorry, I will just quickly build on what Tom said, but I will contradict what Tom said.
Bitch.
Don't feel as if that you have to go to these new player things, or you have to go to this. Like, if you just want to walk around with a tank and a mead and your
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you
you
can
have to
just
do any of this
absolutely
stuff.
do like do
You can just
whatever.
vibe.
Just do
My only
whatever.
argument is if they are taking the battlefield,
Go to the
do
new
go.
player skirmish.
Oh yeah,
skirmish. That's
but
the
like,
only one I will
but
say.
just don't feel as if you have to.
Oh,
If,
yeah.
if you want to just, like I said, walk around all weekend and just
I think
see
that-
what's going on,
I
then
guess
do.
to kind of laser down on the advice is if there's an element of the game that you want to get involved in, definitely go. to
Oh
the new
yeah,
Yeah,
player.
do a bit of
100%.
research
But
on
just
it.
don't.
Get a bit
Like, I'm
of,
just saying, like, don't feel as if you have to do all these
Yeah,
things.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you create the game that you want. No one's going to give you your game. You create your game,
Yeah.
and how you go about doing that is your choice.
Personally, I think everyone should redo the new player skirmish at least once a year just to get back
Yeah.
to combat etiquette.
And I think refresh on the rules as well. I think going onto the battlefield,
Pull your blows.
knowing definitely,
exactly.
definitely pull your blows.
Yeah.
They can if you don't and you injure someone, you can get banned from fighting for life. Like I know people that are no longer allowed to fight in the game.
Oh,
So,
well, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Well,
you can be-
I'm glad that rule exists.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. You can
Yeah.
be banned for life for unsafe fighting. So don't do. Make sure you're pulling your blows. Definitely know try to know all the rules for combat because there's a lot of calls going out. Make sure you understand them so when you get hit, you can go by the rules, and also make sure you know the safety stuff as well.
And if you get lost on the battlefield, like there's always going to be someone there. You can just kind of tag along to most
Yeah.
people as long as you say, "Hey, I'm a little bit lost. I need someone to follow." If you can't follow that person, they'll point you in the direction of where you can go.
Yeah.
Unless you're an Imperial Orc and a Spirali Orc, don't join with the Jotun or Drew.
Yeah,
Probably won't
yeah.
end up well for you.
Though I don't know if you guys would agree because you guys obviously have a lot more combat experience than me, but I would actually recommend monstering for your first battle if you can.
if you're nervous about it,
Because
yeah.
you get plenty of time to like this because you sat there waiting
Adjust.
for a while, so you get given a little unit and they talk you through the rules and they talk you through a little bit of a strategy, and then you will probably die fairly quickly, and you can just then leave the field if you're not liking it.
Or respawn.
Yeah, you could go to respawn and respawn again, or you could just leave because it's right next to the exit as well. I think it's good if you're not sure about combat anyway. But I suppose if you go on the new player skirmish, then
Yeah,
that gives you a good idea.
It
of what
gives you an
combat's
experience
like.
because you get put in a death donut and panic.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get given like this is how bad it can be. Are you
Yeah.
okay with this? Okay, then you do it then.
I think another thing, one thing that's really good for again, so the vibing, walking around is absolutely a valid way to
Yeah.
play. But one thing I think really helped me on a few events when I first started was So between events, between summits, because in the world there's 3 months between each one, a lot happens in the Empire. And the way that information is conveyed to us is through articles that Profound Decisions put out called The Winds of Fortune and The Winds of War.
Still haven't read them.
You don't need to read them, but but the Winds of War is what's happening with all the armies and stuff like that, and the Winds of Fortune are things that are happening that is not that. And if you read through them, they tell you what's going on in the world. And if you find one, even if for your first event, don't feel like you need to read them all because it's a lot of like nouns that you'll have no idea what's going on, like what's happening, who's this. Find one that your character really cares about. Find one Wind of Fortune and be like, I really care that. So the one for me was there was an expedition into the center of a very dangerous part of Var territory, and they needed people to do it. So I was like, my character really wants this expedition to be successful. So I'm going to spend this whole event doing stuff to make sure that it's successful. And that gave me so much to do over the weekend. It made me interact with people I wouldn't normally interact with. It has given me connections to go kind of talk to people. So I think if you want to find stuff to do, find a Wind of Fortune that you're like, I want to do this. I want this
I've
to be
actually
me.
done that this time with the Semilark thing.
Yeah.
With the Sovereign. I'm like, I'm going to be a vigilance priest and warning people, like, be careful.
Yeah,
Fucking
absolutely.
Watch out.
I'll talk to you about that afterwards.
Yeah,
This,
okay.
but yeah, that's absolutely something I would recommend doing. Find one and be like, this is my weekend. This is my weekend is making sure this happens, or learning about this, or
even
finding
just having
information
something
out.
to talk about. So when someone starts a conversation with you, you have something to fall back on,
Yeah.
and you don't just panic and go, I don't know this world, I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Also, finding some work, finding a little job to do.
Yeah.
Someone might need a message delivering or some bodyguarding or something like that. That's
Unless
a good
you're
way
the
to get it.
jackdaws, don't do it.
We're epic bodyguards. He died when we were off duty.
I have made this point that like he died. The person you were bodyguarding died 5 minutes after you stopped guarding them.
Yeah.
So you were clearly doing an
fantastic
amazing
job.
job.
All week. Like, yeah, to be fair, all weekend they were obviously
Yeah.
planning it and trying after him. They clearly waited.
Until the terrifying jackdaws were out of the way.
Exactly. We're that good. It's all about spin, isn't it?
No, this is the God's honest truth.
We literally summoned his ghost back. One, to find out who killed
The
him.
fact you summoned him back
Well,
from the
we
lab,
didn't, but
you
the
summoned him back from the labyrinth to be like, say we're innocent, you motherfucker.
Say we were off duty.
No.
And then we avenged him.
Yeah.
My final little thing I would probably bring up is probably go to Empire with too many goals in mind. So, for example, do you want to make a new friend or join a group potentially? Or you get a character pack, you come with get a throne. Maybe you want to try and just have the goal of doubling that throne. I think if you've got two little goals in mind, don't rush in thinking, I'm going to be senator this game, because they're very unlikely to happen, and you might get a bit bummed out if it doesn't.
Tell you what, though, run for senator.
Oh, yeah,
Just give it
do
a crack.
run to
Why
senator.
not?
Okay, I will.
Yeah, do it. My advice would also be to join a group when you get there.
Yeah.
Don't join a group
Oh,
you've
yeah,
met
don't
on
meet
Facebook,
someone on Facebook,
because you've no idea what they're like. You don't know if the game they're running. Like, if we go for the nice, surface level stuff, the game they do might be irrelevant to you. They might be like, oh, sure, join our group. It's like, yeah, we're really into magic research, and you're like, God, I don't care about that.
Nerds.
So you want to find someone that vibes with you, or you can get there, or you can actually find out these are people out of character, and nice people, and you
Yeah.
can't tell that online. So use the same logic you would use you engaging with strangers on the internet, where you're like, I don't know who this person is, so I'm not going to sign myself up to be in their group. Build connections, have people to vibe with, but don't feel like you need to pick a group and stick with them loyally.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
there's no
because you're
harm
not
in
online.
finding out what like this freeborn family are called. Okay, I'll come find you in field and we'll have a chat. Like there's no harm in knowing certain groups are welcoming to new people and going and finding them and having a chat with them and seeing if you do gel well.
Yeah, absolutely.
My
But yeah,
jackdaws have a minimum of 1 season recruitment stage to see if you gel with us.
And we gel with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's a really sensible policy as well.
The only issue is if they want to fight with us, we have to sign them in officially to get them on the banner.
Yeah,
And then
true.
I've got to go and do the paperwork to get them removed, if
Yeah,
not.
yeah. But yes, goals. What goals have you got?
For E1, it's just going to be a kind of a catch-up sort of thing. But Neve's goals for the season are going to be, I don't know, probably just get more involved in the military sort of game. Kind of start not climbing the ranks as such, but getting my foot in the door. That's kind of where we're going.
Are you
I
angling
think.
to lead skirmishes, be a general? What kind of thing do you want to do? You think?
So I think field marshalling is kind of
yeah.
the end goal, but that's a long time away. I mean, I've still got to kill Seb off so that I can take over the Dread Shields first. That's kind of the next goal. But I think that there are actually a lot of plans for Neve that I'm not privy to, so I'm a little bit worried about those.
Interesting.
They're the best plans.
No, but yeah, it's
Surprise
just
plans.
yeah. I haven't fully decided where I would like Neve to go within the military game, but it is going to be that. I don't think it's going to be skirmishes because I would just like it to be a bit more substantial.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you're. I mean, there's good ways to go about this, right? If you go speak to generals and be like, "Hey, I'm really interested in leading on the battlefield," they might be like, "Oh, do you want to sub in for this?" Or if there's a waiting list, if you want to get involved, I might be able to get you on the front lines and get leading people. Because I've seen people who it's their first event and they're field marshalling. So
That's
like
crazy.
you
to
can
me.
yeah, but they're not doing it on themselves. It's like they're apprenticing with someone. So if you go and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, jump along," you can.
I think that's probably
ride with me.
well, that's somewhat my plans because our Captain Rook, like they are they line captain or like they're one of the, so obviously we've got like our main general of Navarre, then there's like 4 line captains that they feed to the general or the general feeds to them and then they feed down to the rest of the nation. And Rook is one of them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I feel as if I'll probably spend a lot of time with them kind of buddying up, or if whilst they're busy with that, then leading our unit. I don't know. Like,
I think it's,
we're just going to see what happens, I suppose.
You want to get more into the military stuff, I suppose.
100%.
Yeah.
I like stabby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we go next?
Yeah. So I'd say
Sell more mead.
I'm going to sell more mead. Yeah. My hot dog days are behind me.
No more Otis's hot dogs.
Never say never.
Where am I going to get my hot Navarre sausage from? Oh, what?
I can still offer you one of those ones. But I mean, at some point in the future, I might bring them back. I'm thinking maybe winter. It'd be nice to be cooking again. But no, I've made some chocolate orange mead. So I'm going to be walking around selling that. I've already got one pre-sale.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Thank you,
nice.
Cricket.
Hello.
Hello, cricket.
Hello, Cricket. And yeah, timing's going to be quite interesting. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's all, very icy and secretive and things. But a friend of mine, Steve, aka Grundfos, has heard of something that might be a little bit heretical.
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 Ooh, don't get caught out.
Who's doing heresy?
No one's doing heresy. I
would
didn't say
anyone be
that.
doing
I said they're
heresy?
doing heretical, which is completely different.
Of course.
I'd love to see a virtue priest put that down as a virtue defense.
I didn't say heretical. I said heresy.
Your Honour, that's not what I said because I can't say it.
I might actually shout out his business, which is pretty cool. So he goes around selling.
heresy?
No, it's not. All right,
I'm gonna get
Steve.
you.
Steve is not. Grundfos.
Steve. His name's Steve.
Grundfos is not. Oh,
Right,
Folks, writing
Right,
notes
folks,
down.
write it down. Find him.
we're just gonna get mobbed at time in, aren't we? Just everyone
Why are you a
piling on.
heretic?
It's not us. We've heard of some, so we're gonna go investigate. But
Okay.
I won't go into any more
You're going to put
detail.
a stop to the heresy and be
Oh, there we
good.
go.
Maybe, or maybe just heckle, throw a couple rotten tomatoes. But yeah, Grundfos sells smutty nuts. Is his
I
business?
think I've seen his
Oh,
smutty
yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
Small.
And basically, they're these little bags of nuts, and inside you've got like assorted flavors and little bits of vegan jerky and things. But his little spin on it is he puts in a little poem, a little limerick, a piece of
hell
smut,
yeah.
basically these naughty little
I love
poems,
that.
and he goes around selling those, and they're the perfect bar
I
snack.
need to buy
so-
some of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll be probably selling some stuff together, so you
Yeah.
could get a nice bottle of chocolate orange mead. I have to try really hard not to say Terry's.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored. Of chocolate orange mead and a bag of nuts. So yeah, going around selling that.
Sounds like a good combo.
Yeah, it should be fun. And then other than that, just chill out with the dread shields, sit
Yeah.
around the fire.
You like to vibe a bit as well. don't
Yeah,
you?
I
like to vibe.
yeah, I like
How
to
many
treat
kettles are you aiming to drink this time?
kettles of ale. Oh, I might get through a couple.
Have you lead tested that kettle?
No, maybe that's
Maybe
why I
you
have such a
should.
good time.
Maybe
Yeah.
yeah. That shout out this time.
Yes.
Lead test your tankards, guys. You can get kits from Amazon.
Yeah, kits from Amazon.
It's like a litmus
We've
test.
all been doing lead tests on tankards, and we'll be like, "Oh, we've been consuming lead for a year.
Yeah.
Cool."
You should do mine.
Also,
Yeah.
I have a ceramic tankard, so I'm just risking cracking it open and cutting myself. But you're not lead poisoning, so that's good.
No amount of lead exposure is safe. But yeah.
Nietzsche's getting smarter from it.
Okay, it's having the opposite
Isn't
effect.
yours wasn't?
Yeah, mine was the only one that hasn't been lead poisoned.
Yeah.
A lot of these were the pewter tankards that the vendors sell there. And I'm not saying that they're all lead infested,
Yeah.
but just make sure if you should
It's
test
a bit of a
them.
gamble. So
It's worth
yeah.
knowing that we have bought tankards with lead at Empire. So
Yeah,
just-
80% of the drink vessels that we bought had lead. They tested positive when we tested them for lead.
Yeah.
So be careful. Maybe test your vessels before you bring them to LARP, just in case. But yeah, other than that, chilling with the Dread Shields, having a nice, relaxing time, chilling out with Rocky, smoking a cigar maybe. Rocky's getting his rack back, so he's going to be doing all
Rocky's
these
rack.
amazing feeds for those that have previously organised food with him.
vibing.
But yeah, just vibing, and what is it? God laughs at best laid plans of men, or some shit like that. What's the quote? Men make plans and God laughs.
I know what you're trying to say.
The best
but I
laid
don't
plans
know.
of mice and men.
Yeah.
There's something
Something
about
like that.
something about the best laid plans of mice and men.
Basically, you can't plan it.
if you're more intelligent than any of us, please drop the quote.
Every plan fails first contact with the enemy or whatever. Or
that's a new one. I didn't even
we
know.
don't know
Yeah,
what.
never heard that one.
I think that's
That's a classic.
I'm
one.
pretty sure that's from like The Art of War, but I don't know. But yeah.
Well, all of these, they all apply at LARP. So don't plan too much because you will be swept off your feet. You may not even get a chance to do what you've got planned. Stuff comes to you at LARP, although at the same time, try and find it. But yeah, that's about it. Just have a good time.
Yeah.
How about you, Kerry?
So Friday night is opening night at Hens because me and the rest of the Boar's Head are moving to Varushka, and we are no longer the Boar's Head, we are Hens. And we're not a bar, we're a theatre where the Jackdaws will be playing actually on the first night.
The
Jackdaw
Clattering
Theatre
Curtain.
Troupe, the Clattering Curtain. Yes, I'm very excited for their performance. Always good. I will also be around with my tarot cards, with dice. Cameo has made some personalised dice that spell out her name, and I got to make me some as well. So they've got Radka dice and Cameo dice.
Nice.
I've got my little trinket basket, but I think that'll be more for later in the weekend. But I'm thinking of being like a trinket trader, but not like selling trinkets, more like going and being like swap.
That's fun.
I like just seeing, like trying to trade up or seeing what I can get, or just it's just an excuse that I could go and buy things like little cute crochet animals or whatever from
That's
vendors,
fun. I
and then they
like
can
that.
go in my basket, and then I can go around and like trade.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
that.
But I'm excited for that. I've written a theme song for Hens. I've written a song about Summerlark, warning people not to go near the water.
But it's fun for a swim.
Yeah, no, it's not fun for a swim. Don't listen. And I obviously have the Jackdaw song, so if I get the chance, I might perform that as well. I've got a few new little instruments to bring along, bringing as much music as I can to Empire because I absolutely love all the music we have at Hoist. And hopefully Cricket will help me with that because I know they'll be carrying around a lot of instruments. They're going to be like a walking one-man band. And I'm hoping to intern as a little guy a little bit and do some silly little guy things.
Just a little guy.
Yeah, just be a little guy. And, maybe I'll go to the Hall of Worlds.
We
Finally.
need to turn you into a Briar, and then you can engage in Briar business.
Oh,
I,
we do need a Briar
absolutely could because I'm currently on lineage, so I could be a Briar.
Green veins are very easy to
That
do.
does sound very easy.
A lot easier than Naga.
Yeah, Naga. I think I'll throw in this tip here for anyone thinking of doing a lineage. Start small. You can't have less scales than the event before, and if it's boiling hot and it's a heat wave, and all you want to do is dip your head in a bucket of water or pour a bottle of water over your head, but your face is covered in cheap face paint, you can't do that.
Use I've ordered some alcohol activated makeup. So
Yeah.
that water won't rub it off. from
That's
my
also a good
spirals,
shout. If
which is
you,
a good idea.
yeah, like because I literally got the cheapest stuff I
Snaz
could
in
find,
it.
which doesn't help. Yeah. But maybe if I do become a Briar, because you can lineage can appear. Like you can start off unlineaged and then a lineage.
Briars particularly.
Oh,
are
a late bloomers.
stealth. Yeah. So
is-
like their scabs are bark, and
Yeah.
so often you don't realize you're a Briar
Oh,
until you
well,
take a
with a
bad cut.
non-combat character,
Yeah.
quite
Get Briared,
easy
idiot.
to have not realised that I'm a Briar. Yeah, maybe that could be quite cool. The Empress's election
Coronation.
or whatever coronation. Yeah, that's the one. Is also Friday night, and we are right in the square in Varushka where it will be happening. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I will be there for that, whether I want to or not. Clearly,
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of goals, I don't know. Maybe getting involved in a bit more games. So I'm half mage, half priest, vigilance priest. So either ranting to people about how they need to be careful and watch their backs, or possibly joining a coven in Varushka. I do know of quite a big one who I've got a friend who's in it, and I might see if I can be of any assistance to them. Or I'll just loiter around in the Hall of Words and see if I can find any. I want to say elementals again, but that's wrong. What is it?
Eternals.
Eternals. There you
Like
go.
the really middling Marvel film.
Yes.
I never
Eternals.
watched it.
It was very middling.
Okay, so what about you, Tom?
So I've got lots of little bits and pieces already written down that I need to do. So I've already been invited to a wedding, which should be lovely. The Reaper's apparently getting married to a freeborn this summit, so that's going to be an event of the season. I have some political shenanigans I want to get up to, but I will not go to detail that here. But that should hopefully at least provide some more game to my lads and lasses and theys and thems in my group. I'm hopefully going to be getting some work from Benno de Carver, the Imperial Bailiff, in collecting some debts. One of them may be involving cheese, so that should be quite interesting. Perhaps I will be commentating on an event sometime, this event as well. And then, of course, I've got the plethora of different meetings throughout the weekend, and I've fucking got to find my lot a new contract for the summit, because that's our last time fighting with Dawn unless someone wants to hire us back. So it's find someone who wants to hire us, and yeah, see what goes from there. Then I've also got my plethora of meetings, like the Merchant Prince's meeting, the Mercenary meetings, and many, many others. Personal goals, I need to check up if I'm still going to be allowed to be proxy senator of Tasoto and see if the political game is something I want to engage in, or maybe it won't do. Therefore, I've tried it. Not for me. Jolly good. One little goal I'd love to do is actually get the time to just buy a newspaper and read it in a coffee shop and have 5 minutes to myself. That's great.
So
And
your goal is to have some time to yourself.
yeah,
That's a
On
hilarious
your own
goal.
holiday.
What a nice relaxing holiday.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
All
I
the
mean,
meetings.
maybe that's also like a Nietzsche cutscene in which you're impervious to damage.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, one other thing I'm going to be doing, as Kerry was saying, the Clattering Curtain have put on 2 plays. Who Really Murdered the Mithril Man and Rock the Brock, which I'm very excited to see performed. How about you, Tristan? What are you going to be doing?
So, my goals for this year are to become noble. I'm hoping I get that done this year. So I've got 3 humans to challenge and 1 eternal, and I'm hopefully getting my challenge from that eternal at the Winter Summit, which is very exciting. And my other big focus for this year is to defeat the Cold Sun. So anyone that's been reading or has been at Empire knows about Cold Sun, which is this horrifying day.
Not real, it's a myth.
Don't.
Tom, you can't say that about everything.
You can't say about every
I'm
new
not
thing.
doing that again. God, the lawn thing was draining.
You almost got stabbed.
But the Cold Sun is a Eternal from the Day Realm, which has basically sent 9 armies into the Empire and is destroying us from the inside out. It has blown up some of the Trods in Navarre. It has built a fort in Highguard. It's doing bad things. So I have founded a knightly order with the intention of destroying all the Scions and sending them back to the Day Realm. So my goals this year are become noble and do some serious work on this. I hope to be in a position. What I ideally want is to kind of be in a position where I'm like a big help on the Cold Sun. It tends to be my intention. So I've had some chats with the Archmage Day about some stuff. So hopefully we can get some help there. So yeah, they're kind of my 2 big focuses for the year. Which is funny because I don't in like the last year I don't think I had any like direction. I was kind of like there's a few things I was interested, but this year I'm like I've got 2 big
You were
things I want to do.
constantly busy.
No, I did, but I didn't have like overarching. Well, the noble thing was still there.
I was gonna say,
but
that
I was
that's
kind
always
of
been a goal.
I was nowhere near doing my noble this time last year, whereas I'm about halfway there. So yeah, they're my 2 big things this year, and survive.
I think that's a pretty common goal for most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know some people that are going like, I want to die this event. I'm bored of this character.
Do you think any of us, except Kerry, this year will do a new character? God, I hope not.
I can always see it for Tristan because I always end up taking things that give me roleplay effects, which are like, don't worry about your own life. So
Yeah.
it's always a
You
possibility.
also take a lot of risks.
Yeah.
I think I see a new character for myself on the horizon at some point
Yeah?
soon.
Yeah.
Would you think
You've
you'd
got
change a
plans.
nation?
I don't know. I think I'd have to die first. I think Otis would need to die first.
You don't think you just retire him to a kettle plat? Like he just has his kettle on a
Kettle
ranch.
plant, a kettle farm in the sky.
Growing kettles.
I'm a lead farmer.
But yeah, I think. So, what about you? Did you say you think you got a new character on the way?
No.
No, you're staying. Yeah.
Yeah, Neva's here to stay. She will be Empress.
Okay, and some of you lovely listeners have left us some questions that you would like us to answer. So we've got them here now. Kerry?
Oiley's asked us each a question.
Oh.
First of all, for Tristan, number 11, which is...
What am I most proud of?
We're supposed to be keeping these answers short.
2 hours
Ask a
later.
Dwarf man about pride.
Tristan is proud of his consistent ability to put his life, put others' lives before him to save people, and also the fact he has won 2 competitions over the Long Dark.
Others' lives before him.
Is it? Yeah, he's putting other lives before. So, isn't they're more important. He will risk himself.
So he's
them as a
putting-
meat shield.
If I put my life before
Yeah,
theirs,
okay.
that would mean I'm putting myself. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got that mixed up in my head. Basically,
It
he'll
took
risk
me
his
a
life
s-
to
I'm
save
with you.
people he
Yeah,
loves.
I'm with
That's
you. I'm
what
with
he's
you.
proud of. And the fact he's won 2 competitions over the Long Dark. No big deal.
With the help of the Dreadjaws for one.
That's not the competition I was thinking of.
Oh, wow.
29 for Neve.
29 for Neve. We've got my most traumatic experience.
Well, Oily, I think you'll bloody know. Probably going down, being about, I think my bleed count, I had 34 seconds left from dying, and then being saved on the battlefield, but only to be saved with bite. So, yes, that, I would say. Thank you very much.
I feel like a bingo caller. 18 Radka.
18. What are my future plans?
My future plans are to spread the word about how dangerous the Semilark is and make some good trades. Hopefully trading up. You know how people on TikTok or whatever trade up from a paper clip to try and get a house. Maybe not to that extent, but I'd like to trade up a little bit with my little trade basket.
Nice.
See what I can get. I'm going to help the economy of Anvil.
Nice.
Otis 39.
39 for Otis is my fighting style. So I've got a shield and a sword, and I do this thing. It's quite special. I hope nobody steals it. But I use the shield. I put it in front of me. So if anybody else swings a weapon or anything it stops it from hitting my body. And then I usually hold the sword in the other hand, and I use this. It's kind of like a swinging motion, but I do it in the direction of the enemy. So if I hit them, I cause them damage.
Imperial generals, make notes. This is golden.
If I might,
If I see anybody else doing this, I'm going to know where
if
you
I
got
might
it from.
rephrase that, it sounds a little bit like your strategy is keep your hit points above 0,
Yeah.
whilst reducing the enemies beneath 0.
I found that's the best way not to die.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll bear
Yeah.
that in mind.
Take note.
Nietzsche 43.
43 for Nietzsche. Your favourite colour?
Ooh, I'd have to say the brassy gold, the throne coin.
Oh, lovely.
Of course it is.
I thought you were going to say red.
The brassy, a colour in its own, gold, a separate colour.
Meld it together.
Tom's not sure.
Meld it together, make
Whatever
it worth
colour that is.
Meld it together, make it worth less, forge the body, sell it for more. Done.
I don't exactly see thrones very often.
You can have a greeny blue. That's a colour.
I know.
right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm being facetious.
Yeah. Okay.
Twat.
Another one
No.
for Nietzsche. Questions from a jackdaw, actually, called William. He'd like to ask Nietzsche, number 26.
26 for Nietzsche. Thoughts on families?
Thoughts on families. Family is a strong bond between jackdaws who work together. You may not get paid, but it's the strength of family that ties us together.
You may not get paid.
The jackdaws are a toxic workplace. We're like a family here.
It
think there's some labour laws in there.
cult.
Remember, loyalty is a virtue, but also prosperity. Ugh.
Lovely.
And Radka, number 7.
Number 7 is a description of your best friend.
So Radka's actually not taken to the field yet, so I don't know who I'll end up spending the most time with, but I imagine it might be a certain jackdaw in the Clattering Curtain who has been working on puppet shows with Hyland, the previous caretaker, housekeeper, whatever. And I imagine that they've bonded a little bit over writing silly little plays and music as well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So moving on to the most handsome man at Anvil.
Most handsome man in the Empire.
Sorry, the most handsome man in the Empire. Sorry to discredit you there, James. he would like to ask Tristan, number 23.
Tristan, give us a description of your crush.
Tristan doesn't really have a crush.
Don't lie, it's Nietzsche.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, it's
Nietzsche.
definitely
Let me get
Nietzsche.
the nipple tassels out.
Tristan doesn't have a crush, but there is a rumor he's getting married in the near future to someone covered in bells.
Is it sit down or buffet?
That's yet to be decided. The wedding might be cancelled though, but there was an engagement announcement in Savos.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that goes.
Saucy.
Nietzsche 34.
Like battleships.
Nietzsche, what are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? I'm waiting for one of my schemes or plans to actually go right without a fucking hitch. That will be the day.
Says the king of failing upwards.
So, true, I have attained great fame through failing upwards, but none of my plans have gone 100% correct. So, I think that's what I'm waiting for.
Nice.
Radka 45.
Radka, what is your greatest virtue?
Oh, well, I'm a vigilance priest, so...
It's prosperity.
It's yeah. Probably vigilance, yeah.
Nice.
Otis 17.
17. You can win me over by. Oh, filling that kettle up.
Yeah. He'll fill up his kettle up
I'll be
wise,
yours.
guys. Neve 39.
Your fighting style.
Ambi.
All right. Straight to the point. Yeah,
Straight to the point.
I thought you were going to say like kicking children or.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just what I do for fun.
See, I thought I was expecting words like kamikaze, screaming, drug induced, berserker.
Well, I just
Don't you rush front lines screaming with two swords?
And then get hit in the stomach with a spear and go down.
that was twice.
But the Doofenshmirtz, it's weird it's happened more than once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Lovely.
I didn't. That's that's what that question means, right? Like,
I just meant
it is.
broad.
Well, yeah, it is. That is an
yeah.
absolutely appropriate answer to the question, and it wasn't long-winded until everyone else started chiming in.
We went on tangents.
yeah.
fuck you
Well,
guys.
I told you, Chloe, this is a tangent-free zone. Why are you... Christ alive.
Like, we're trying to keep this short, guys. Come on.
You can go with the shakes without a tangent.
Anyway, more questions now from another jolly jackdaw called James. Tristan 29.
Tristan, what's your most traumatic experience?
What a good question.
This podcast.
Getting called out for reading a question.
My most traumatic experience, Tristan's most traumatic experience, I think, of late was watching one of his closest friends get killed by the cold sun.
Oh, that is pretty traumatic.
That got dark fast.
Watching Hector get burned from the inside out and be turned to ash.
Meant to be a funny answer.
Way to kill the mood.
Say Ambi.
That's a big part of
Ambi.
why I've formed the Nightly Order. And I've got a little journal about the cold sun. The first page it says for Hector.
Oh,
Oh, no wonder
Of
you're so
course,
passionate
Tristan
about
journals.
Yeah.
putting it into the cold sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Neve, 36.
I should have said. So what's something you regret not saying?
Neve doesn't regret saying anything.
No, as in what would you regret not saying? Is there
Like,
anything you
what
wish
do
you had
you'd
said?
Yes, I will take 2 of those tomahawks.
Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
I rection you could take on 2.
Like
Oh,
milk
one.
cans.
She's Ambi. She can have both.
I'm now picturing you with like a tomahawk steak in one hand, the tomahawk axe in the other on the battlefield. Ah! Ah!
And then like eat the axe and hit with the meat by mistake because I get my hands confused. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Radka 9.
Radka, a friend of yours who's died.
Yes, well, so that's actually how I met Tristan. I was visiting a friend up in Dawn as a youth, and we were near the Semilark, where there's obviously lots of monsters, and Varushkin will tell you, don't go into the Semilark. Whatever will happen, like something will drag you down. If you see anything, any treasure, it's not real, it's a mirage, they're trying to bait you. My friend got baited and dragged into the Semilark. I almost dove in after them, but then I saw the glowing eyes of a monster peering out at me, just daring me to go in. And at the same moment, Tristan was walking past and went to like run past me to dive into the water, and I just grabbed him by like the shoulder plate and was like, "No, sorry, but they're gone. The bubbles, there's no bubbles anymore. Like that's it. Sorry, they're gone."
Oh,
And that was how I met Tristan, and then he invited me to a tea party to cheer me up.
Aw.
And we had. Well, I was thinking that could be our winter feast that we never did.
Oh,
Oh,
we
maybe.
never did.
That I think still happened off screen.
And maybe that's how I met Nietzsche then.
Yes, and that's how you got the job. Wonderful. Look at that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Emergent
trauma.
storytelling.
Otis, 37.
37. My greatest enemy. Ooh. I haven't made any enemies at LARP.
Didn't you make some enemies with some other sausage salesmen?
Oh.
Inadvertently.
They made enemies with me. I was just sat there slinging snags, and they walked past. I can't remember what they said now, but it turned out that they were the sausage opposition.
Yeah, well,
And
they didn't have vegetarian sausages, so more fool them.
I'd cornered the market, have I?
Yeah.
But no, I want to make an enemy at LARP, like a
I'll
swan
be
enemy.
your
A
enemy.
nemesis.
A nemesis,
Have you
Oh,
yeah.
there's
heard
actually a notice
there's a
board for
Nemesis
that.
notice
Yeah.
board.
Is there?
Yeah, you can sign up for that.
Also have a foe for hire.
It's on
I would-
Traders Row. I don't know if is it the ones who sell the newspaper.
I would also
remember.
suggest feeding someone a spicy brownie. That's a good way to get a nemesis.
That's a good way to
Rocky
make an
Road.
enemy, yeah.
Oh, it was a rocky road. I always correct people. So
Fact check.
yeah. Thank you.
Nietzsche 19.
Nietzsche 19, an internal conflict you have.
Ooh, an internal conflict from Nietzsche.
How can I go to more meetings?
But I need sleep.
Maybe how his life has changed from being just a Bravo to accidentally becoming a merchant prince.
Yeah,
His
he used to be the
values have changed very much since E1, and his perspective on matters has changed a lot too. So, is he what he used to be? Is he still the man he started off as? Or has he become something completely different and unrecognizable?
Okay, nice.
Oh, I don't know this person. Who could this possibly be?
I don't forget it.
Someone called Cleo?
They don't get the question.
Cleo.
No, Chloe would like to ask Tristan, number 37.
Tristan, who's your greatest enemy?
Find out in play.
Ooh.
Oh.
Not answering that on the podcast.
Okay.
That's
all
fair,
right, all
yeah.
right.
Could just say the
fair.
cold sun.
Oh, Colton. We'll go with
There you
that.
go. We'll
Yeah,
go with that.
Convinced.
Not your floppy antlers.
You can't do that on air.
It's a real problem.
That many changelings struggle with. It's perfectly natural.
It's common and it's okay.
You shouldn't shame him for it. Anyway, Chloe would like to ask herself, number 2.
Well, I had to put myself in there.
What's number 2?
What you're bad at?
Oh,
Is everything
Did you
a
just
choice?
put a random number?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't really think I paid attention. I felt like I had to put me in
So
there.
what are you bad at? Not picking children?
Talking to people,
Oh, fair.
maybe.
That's going to be something you need to work on being a general there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good at
Shouting at
shouting at
people.
people.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, not shouting.
Like
is the
every time I
difficult
have a normal, in quotes, conversation with people, it just usually turns into me being a dick, I think. So, yeah. Neve is a bit of a dick.
Okay.
There we go.
part. Anyway, Radka, 24.
Radka, what do you like about yourself?
I like that I am. Well, Radka likes that she is musical, optimistic, and is spreading the word about dangerous things in Empire. Like, as a caveat to she hates that she didn't step in and save her friend in Dawn. She's now sort of, because she's not a fighter, so she wants to warn people about threats before it happens. So she wants to help people to be prepared for fighting. So she's quite proud of herself for doing that.
Okay, nice.
Otis, 18.
18. What are my future plans? To sell some chocolate orange mead. Yeah, I don't want to shamelessly advertise myself, but yeah, selling some chocolate orange mead, making some money, because I think E1's a good chance to make a nice, fatten the coffers
Yeah.
so that you can then go spending for the other events. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Nietzsche, 23 and 24, but they have to be different answers.
Okay.
All right, so a description of your crush and what you like about yourself.
Right, this is a thing I haven't worked out with Nietzsche yet, but I'm starting to think it may be canon. I don't know if Nietzsche's just asexual.
Fair.
The
He only
man's
loves
just
meetings.
Too busy with meetings. He has not. I, as Tom and as Nietzsche, have not considered the romance game at Empire whatsoever. I'm just like too immersed with getting everything organized, making sure the jackdaws have jobs, finding a minute to myself, and attending meetings. There's no time for romance. I'd be
So-
terrible at Dawn.
Could you be your own crush then?
Do you love yourself?
I don't know. Does Nietzsche love or hate? He might love and hate himself in equal measure.
Fair enough.
Oh, but what do you like about yourself? Was that the other question?
Mm.
Oh God, he's charismatic. God, he's convinced a lot of people to follow him into hell. They're fanatically loyal, and I love them.
Okay, Nathan would like to ask us all, number 31.
So we'll go around in a circle. It's the nicest thing said to me. Tristan, do you want to start?
Tristan was once told he is everything a Knight of Dawn should be,
Oh,
which I think is definitely something that is the nicest thing he'll have heard.
Neve?
I've been told that I'm very scary, and Neve takes that as a compliment. So we'll go with that.
Don't doubt it. Yeah.
We'll go with that.
So the nicest thing said to me wasn't really about me, but about my efforts. Whilst selling my bacon mead at E4, there was one person in particular who absolutely loved it to the point where I saw they purchased it, took a sip, and then necked half the bottle. And they said, this is the best, which wasn't the common consensus.
No.
So I'm glad.
Everyone's taste buds are different.
Exactly. It was like
Clearly.
Marmite. You either loved it or you hated it. But
Most people hate it.
well,
I kind of enjoyed it.
kind of 50.
Kind of enjoyed it.
It was like 50-50, but that was a very nice thing to see. How about you, Radka?
Well, Radka's obviously never actually been on the field, but I like to think that when she wrote the theme song for her family business, her father told her that he was so proud of her, and that just made her day. How
Lovely.
about you, Nietzsche?
Well, one of my friends says about Nietzsche that he's obviously like a father figure to the people of his guild. He very much cares for the people working under him and would, as a character, go above and beyond to make sure that they're having a good time at Anvil,
Lovely. Nice.
which is lovely to hear.
Yeah.
Missy would like to ask Tristan, number 19.
An internal conflict that you have, Tristan.
Oh, I think. Oh God, this is a deep question. I think for Tristan, there is a conflict around the kind thing to do
Yeah.
and the
Good thing to do.
virtuous thing to do. What is virtuous and glorious is not always kind.
Yeah.
And that can make him stop sometimes, especially with
Yeah.
regards to things that have happened in the Barons recently. There are things that are both virtuous and glorious and for the good of the Empire, but at the same time, they're pretty bad. So it's like, I think that's probably one thing where I'm trying to kind of work that out, where you sit within this machine of evil imperialism and how you justify that, I
So
think.
yeah, that's interesting. Neve, number 12.
I know what this one is.
What do you hate, Neve?
Children.
Yeah. There's only going to be one answer to this, and it's kids.
Kids in general? Okay.
Sure.
Radka, 28.
What are you best at, Radka?
She's good at singing.
Yeah, making music. Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Nice.
Being a bit of a bard.
Creating the atmosphere.
Yeah, creating an atmosphere probably would be a more appropriate answer. Yeah, definitely.
Lovely.
Nietzsche 17.
How can someone win you over, Nietzsche?
Money.
Straight to the point. I like it.
All right, Mr. Krabs.
Why have you set up this guild?
I want to point out the fact that Otis doesn't have a question in this comment, and that's because when Tom made the post, instead of writing Otis's name, he wrote the word answers.
This teaches you not to post and play Magic the Gathering at the same time.
Craig would like to know, or to ask all of us, number 33.
All right, we'll go around again. Tristan, what's your biggest worry?
Dying before he becomes noble, and dying dying not being known.
Or with like your pants down or something?
No, that's fine. There could be a situation where my pants have fallen down because I'm being particularly glorious. So yeah,
Oh.
that's fine.
That's how I show glory. All right, Neve, your biggest worry?
I don't know. I don't really think she worries about anything. She doesn't really
Getting
think
stabbed
too-
in the gut after surgery.
Not getting your
I
tomahawk
think if she
steak.
worried about that, she wouldn't have gone
Yeah,
back
that's
on
true.
the
Yeah.
battlefield.
Yeah, it is what it is. If I need to stab, I stab. If I eat, I eat.
It
Like,
just makes sense for your character.
No,
to be
no,
honest.
think, only kill.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do we need to
fair.
post
She
the Chloe meme again on the chat?
Oh god. No.
I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. All I know is I must kill.
No. No. But yeah, no, I don't really think she worries about anything. She just does. It is
Maybe
what it
she
is.
worries that she'll die not on the battlefield, like she'll just choke on something and it'll be like a really like
As long as it's a tomahawk
boring.
steak, she doesn't care.
yeah, I suppose.
Like, yeah, it is what it is.
I think my biggest worry is that you're going to spend all of my profits.
That's already a reality.
That already happens. I'll make thrones, and then we'll check the coffers when we get home, and
But trinkets.
Rings will be
there's all just rings left.
Yeah, but trinkets.
Yeah. How about you, Radka? What's your biggest worry?
My biggest worry is that people won't take me seriously when I'm talking about threats, and then they'll die. Yeah. Nietzsche?
Very similar to Tristan, which I know is weak in itself, but I very much worry I will die before being remembered. And I think if Nietzsche dies, the jackdaw's just separating or falling apart without me. Because I like that legacy I've left behind.
Wonderful.
Josh would like to ask us 42, all of us.
42, a crime you've committed, Tristan?
Never committed a crime in my life.
Many.
Overcharging?
Undercharging.
Undercharging, fuck.
These prices are criminal.
I feel like if Rad could ever do anything, it would be cheating at a dice game, like whilst gambling. You know.
Cool.
Being too charismatic.
Right.
Stupid.
Right. The next list isn't given numbers. They've actually written out the questions. So
Okay.
cool. If I just quick fire it.
Yeah.
Right. Tristan, what you bad at?
Losing.
Neve, what's your greatest vice? Is it bite?
Bite.
Me, where would I like to live? I'm happy in Ossium, where I've just moved with my family. Otis, what are you proud of?
My mead.
Nietzsche, what do you hate?
Ooh, Urzen. Don't take that too softly.
We can't address it. Next question.
No, yeah, moving on,
Who
moving
asked that
on.
question, by the way?
Harvey, sorry.
All right. It's only because they wanted the land back.
Move on. Go, go,
on,
go.
you're not allowed
Sorry,
to
yeah,
comment.
no, okay, that's all the questions that are written out. We're back to numbers. Okay, Alex would like to ask Tristan 42.
A crime we've committed. He hasn't
Babes,
done-
I've told you already. I've never
hasn't
committed a
done
crime.
Nietzsche 19.
Nietzsche. Already been at an internal conflict. Already been
Okay,
answered.
Neve 14.
14. What pets do you have?
None.
All right, done.
Right.
Hey!
And you got to read out the statement too.
Oh
as
my
well.
goodness gracious. So yes, thank you very much everybody for listening. A really good way to support us is by giving us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Spotify. Now the thing is on iTunes is you can leave a full-on review that I'm able to see. Spotify you can leave comments, but it's not as obvious. So if you leave us a 5-star review, I am contractually obliged to read it out. So I have this one. The title was so long that it got cut off, but it's one of the most listened 5 stars from the most handsome man in Anvil.
I wonder.
This podcast is mostly relevant to people interested in Empire LARP and iLARP/Feast Your Eyes games. Its strength is that it's a big bunch of good friends that are not afraid to carve their own paths while playing a game and bringing their different experiences back to the group so listeners get a broader view of what's gone on in an event compared to other shows, e.g. most of the cast are in different nations of the Empire and are on different ships and hoist the colours. This person really has not used this opportunity to shill. They've just been nice, which is lovely.
This has been a lovely one.
They take care
Thanks.
to make sure everyone gets the time to say their bit and sometimes enhanced by the editing choices of Alex, which never approach veering into gimmicky. For some episodes, you can tell they really put some extra effort into the story and editing. Their 2022 Flying Lead Nightmare is the best they've done for this, but there are other good later examples. They also have a selection of insightful reviews, including some recent ones from the writers of various iLARP Feast Your Eyes games. I look forward to their episodes this year. I especially look forward to them chatting about how eager they are to see the results of the survey of personal heraldry in the Nation of Dawn being undertaken by Sir Jean Appleyard of House Degovan, as this will give nobles in the nation a chance to explain the wonderful stories behind their heraldry. I also look forward to them explaining why Tristan is the Banana Knight, and of course of them singing the theme tune at the end of every episode. Well, thank you very much, the most handsome man in Anvil. And you did use that opportunity to plug yourself. So.
Hey. I think we should sing on the way out.
Yes, thank you for your kind words. But yeah, that's the easiest way to support us is you give us a 5 stars, give us a review, like, share, subscribe, follow,
Patreon.
comment. We also do have a Patreon, so if you've got anything to spare, we do have a Patreon at Fabletop. So if you've got anything to spare, throw it our way. We really appreciate us. Help us keep the lights on, buy new equipment, get to Anvil.
We have just bought a lot of
We
new
have just bought a
equipment.
lot of new equipment, so that'd be great. But yes, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. I am vibrating with excitement.
We
for
can't
Empire.
wait to see
Can't
you.
wait.
This should come out either Wednesday or Thursday, so you've got time to listen to us on the way down.
Do it earlier. Do it earlier.
But yeah, I'm
Well, when you can.
very excited. Thank you very much everyone for listening. We'll see you in
See you on the
Anvil.
That was so. No, we can do better than that. We can do it again. Do it again.